I'm at the final day of my isolated quarantine here at the Hilton Hotel in Sydney, Australia. One of the things that I put a lot of time and energy into during my experience is ways in which I can reduce my impact. Normally in my everyday work I talk about increasing impact, but in this instance I'm talking about the impact on the planet. And in these unusual times of COVID, when so much becomes single use and convenience to protect our health, it becomes particularly challenging to think about how we can utilize waste in different ways. So when I set out on this 14-night journey here in Australia, I wanted to apply a different mindset to waste. And in particular, I framed it in isolated quarantine. How might I reduce my impact by thinking about it as a treasure hunt? And I've utilized this model or pyramid of avoidance, if you like. And oftentimes we talk about reduce, reuse, recycle. But for me, the most important thing is actually to avoid in the first place, because then you don't have to deal with it, right? The issue goes away. And so much of that in change management is particularly around the environment. So while I'm here, I've really utilized this model and thought about each and every day, how could I shift and change my impact throughout my stay? At the side of the model, you'll see all the various ways that I've added, that I've actually put into place to ensure that I am able to apply this. And sadly, avoid is still not as big as I would like it to be, but the reuse part has actually expanded quite a lot. How I've decided to do this is through a waste audit. So in the first week, I had a look, actually the first day, I drew up this little sketch of all the different elements of waste that comes into my room. Not what leaves, but what comes into my room, particularly around meals. So we are very fortunate to receive 3 delicious, nourishing meals every day, prepared by the Hilton Hotel team. And they're delicious, and they have clearly thought about ways in which to deliver the food to us hygienically while considering the impact on the planet. There's still some way to go, as you might imagine, because as you can see from these areas, there's things like cardboard boxes, which is the square, paper bags. All of these elements here are plastic containers. So large square or rectangle containers, medium-sized circular ones, and small ones that are also plastic. This is a huge culprit for me. So this is plastic cutlery. And on day 2, when I first realized this, I asked them to stop sending it, which is why I only had 2 for the whole week. Small water bottles come 1 per meal. It's small, and so you go through 3 a day. Same with the cutlery, is 3 a day. And of course, all of these oftentimes are multiple times, more than 3 a day, I mean. This is like a cardboard little box that oftentimes the bread comes in. So that was my first week's impact, and I really thought about how could I reduce that in week 2. So I haven't added up the totals yet because I still have 1 more meal to go during my quarantine here. And you can see it's a huge reduction already. Even without adding up the totals, you can see what's happened. Now, how have I done that? I'm going to talk you through a number of things that I did proactively that really shifted the game for me. But before I do that, let me show you visually what all of that waste actually looks like. So this is a standard 1 meal's worth of disposables. Now, I haven't got the cardboard boxes here because I've already folded them up into the recycling bag, which I'll show you in a minute. But this is the plastic cutlery set I was talking about. So it has a fork, a spoon, a knife, a small spoon, so 2 spoons, toothpick, salt, pepper, and a serviette, a napkin inside it. So there's a lot wrapped in plastic. So that's 3 times a day, one with each meal. Small water bottles, as I mentioned, I've already scrunched it so that I can recycle it more easily. And then these are the plastic food containers I was talking about. This is 1 standard meal. So, the large size, and then the 2 or 3 circular ones, which is what relates to these elements here of my audit. The other thing on top of the paper box, cardboard box that this all comes in, is there is this film that I've actually ripped out of the box because sadly it can't be recycled, that I'm in normal recycling. So I have to take that out, and it actually goes into the waste, as would all of that would also go into waste as well. So I really thought about how could I reduce this. And the first thing I did was, well, I planned to bring my own, but I also looked at what could the hotel actually do. And so what I got them to do on the first day was to send me a plate that I could wash and reuse for each of my meals. And I also got a cutlery set. So this is what the hotel provided here. In addition to in the room, there was already 2 coffee cups, a wine glass and a standard glass. And then the other things are actually me cleaning them up. I brought my own water, like a silicone mat, water draining mat, but you could just use a towel from the hotel or a tea towel if you have that with you, which would make a big difference. The other thing, so that is really, most of that is hotel provided, and that reduces the need to have at least this plastic cutlery come every single day, 3 times. The other thing, water. So most of the places that we live in, and certainly in Australia, we have excellent water quality. So we can boil water, but then it's a challenge of where do you actually put it. So a dear friend dropped off water in a glass bottle, and so I've been boiling my water and putting it into the glass bottle. I have 2 of them. One stays in the fridge and the other one is out so that I have a fresh water source. I do like sparkling water, so as a result I have had actually quite a lot of plastic bottles still despite this effort. I also wanted to reduce takeaway coffee cups, so the hotel could provide that. So but I don't want to because that would be even more waste. So I bought my own travel coffee plunger and ground coffee, as you can see with all the tea as well here. I like quite a lot of beverages. These are all the containers that I have washed as a result of the meals that have been delivered to me over the last 13 days. There's a lot, as you can see. And there's quite a lot going on. The other thing that I noticed, that I wanted to share with you is how much waste actually gets created. So this is 13 days worth of meals, purely meals, and the boxes that they've been delivered in, those cartons that I was talking about, so they're all being folded up. I've had to stand on them to make them as flat as I possibly can. These are the plastic bottles that I mentioned, at least they're larger size, so you can reduce your water consumption if you do have to get bottled water. Get large bottles of water, so at least you can reduce the number of bottles that you have. And then these are all my glass recycling, so mainly from wine and also sparkling water that I can get in glass. So those 3 elements can be recycled. Now to do that, you need to be able to clean quite a lot. So the hotel very kindly provided this cleaning set, which came with a cleaning cloth, a sponge, as you can see, dishwashing liquid and laundry liquid. Now I imagine the dishwashing liquid especially is for the glasses and coffee cup that they already had inside the room, but of course you can use it for the plates and cutlery. I haven't used any of this because they're single use as well, and I actually have all of my own that I brought with me or I had delivered after I arrived. So I have my own earth-friendly dishwashing liquid, earth-friendly multi-purpose cleaner, which has been exceptionally handy because the amount of dust that gets created because the air conditioning being on 24/7 is a lot. I also bought a smaller version of a laundry liquid. I reused another plastic bottle for that. Vegetable wash and fruit wash because I have had lots of fresh fruit delivered to my room, and so I wanted to get rid of any nasties, even organics. The hotel also, actually, when I'm being released, I have this hand sanitizer, and I've kept the small single-use plastic, amenities that the hotel provided in the room when I arrived, because I knew they'd be wasted otherwise, and so I've used them. And I thought they'd be perfect size to put hand sanitizer inside and carry around in my various bags. The hotel provided this whole amenity kit. This is for week 2. I haven't even opened it because I have all my own bulk products with me. The other thing the hotel gave was a dish, I imagine was what designed to be like a dish brush or a glasses brush, and I converted it into my toilet cleaning brush because there wasn't one in the room, and that's quite handy. So I upcycled an Evian water bottle to be able to contain it hygienically, and that's what I used to clean my bathroom. So the only other piece to add is that in the cleaning process I need to obviously use the sink in my bathroom, and so I brought this sponge handle, amazingly well-designed Japanese dishwashing sponge with me, and this is what I've been using to clean all of my glasses and cutlery and plates while I've been here. It's worked really well because this is the same sink obviously that I need to use in the bathroom. So what I did was I found a flat tray in another part of the room, and I put all of my toiletries on here so that I could easily slide it out and move it to somewhere else in the bathroom when I actually clean my dishes. So all of this has had, I think, quite a big impact. I would have created so much more waste if I hadn't made these small little tweaks to ensure that my impact is reduced while I'm actually here. And interestingly, this was the message that was inside the breakfast tray that arrived from the hotel this morning, which I thought was really quite appropriate for thinking about what I've been doing here. So I'm encouraged that hopefully the Hilton Hotel will also take on board some of this feedback and look at ways to environmentally reduce the impact that we're all having through these challenging times. So I hope you found these insights helpful, some small little hacks that you also can do, because we individually can have massive, massive impact just by reducing one or two things when we're in such confined circumstances. So thanks so much again. Be well, stay positive, test negative.